Hi and welcome to Across the Desk. Well, Stephanie Bice has been out on her Facebook page pandering to her base and soliciting donations again. That's usually what she does. But usually she does it in the most of an original way, so we're going to go through the bulleted talking points that she puts out on her Facebook post right from the NRCC. U.S. Representative Stephanie Bice. She's Oklahoma's newest representative here and in District 5. She represents quite a purple area of Oklahoma, so it's really not easy to go left or too far right in that district. So she's really got to kind of hold a tight rope, but she really hasn't been doing that lately. She's really been pandering to her base a lot in the last couple of weeks, especially in her Facebook post. As you notice, and we'll start here, for example. She puts out this post about how Biden talks to OPEC and Russia and it's harming our oil independence, and when he cut down or stopped using the XL Keystone pipeline, we suffered for that. Well, for many reasons this isn't even true. Well, for one, it's an NRCC talking point. And you know it's an NRCC talking point because other congressional members of our state have used these same words word for word. So you know, yeah, NRCC talking point. Yeah, it's not thought out or even original. Stephanie's just taking the bulleted talking point she gets on her bulleted facts every morning and goes, okay, I need to make a meme out of each one of these. And that's what she does to pander to her base, because see, the NRCC is telling her how to pander to her base, to get them to vote for her in a cult-like fashion and send her money. The most important thing, send Stephanie money, because she really needs it, obviously. She's out there really hustling it from everybody. Hey, I got a deadline. The liberals are after me. So, as you can see, that's what she's all about. But the interesting thing is she posts these things without even thinking about it, and then I get to pick them apart. You see, because let's talk about this. The XL Keystone pipeline wasn't even completed yet. It's not sending oil through. Has no effect on how many barrels of oil we're able to have here. Point two is it's not even a USA pipeline, it's Canada's. And from what I understand, it was going all the way down to the coast and then being shipped off to China of tar sand oil that we don't even use here. So when she says that Biden hurt our energy independence when he stopped that, she's lying to you. She's lying to you. That's what that is. Not only that, when she goes on to say that it's Russia and OPEC and having Biden talk to them is horrible for our energy independence, it's just wrong. Because let's talk about this. See, oil and gas are traded on a global market. It's a global market. Most oil companies are multinational corporations. They're not like an American company. ExxonMobil, they're a multinational corporation. They're not even, they have offices in Aberdeen, Scotland as their main headquarters. So you can't tell me they're an American company. Come on, BP Oil, British Petroleum, come on. Really? And they're multinational. Multinational, they're not even, they have offices in Britain, but they have offices everywhere, like most large oil companies do. So to sit there and say that this is a big harm to us, it's a fallacy. It's wrong. It's fantasy land made up stuff. Because see, oil is traded on the global market, and when you look at OPEC and you look at their member nations, and as a combined effect, they produce over 66%, two-thirds of the world's oil. They produce that. And they hold over 80% of the world's reserves. When you have that kind of assets of that commodity, yeah, you get to control the price a little depending on how much your member nations turn on the tap, drill the oil out, or squeeze it down to control prices, which is what they do, because believe me, they don't have the tap fully open. I don't know if you remember, but several years back, they even talked about this. We want prices to be $30 a barrel, and they did it. They opened the tap, flooded the market, prices dove down, nosedived. So much so that they started losing money. And then the member nations that mostly drill offshore were losing money. They said, hey man, we need this at $35 a barrel. And guess what happened? Guess what OPEC made happen? They made it $35 a barrel. You know why they did that? Because they have all the reserves and they drill all the oil. See? They get to control the price. If they don't control the price, they have a huge hand in it. They really do. I think you would want to talk to those people. But not Stephanie Bice. But really, I don't think she really thought about it. I think she's just putting out whatever talking point the NRCC is telling her to talk. Telling her to put out. Hey, here's a talking point. Do this. And she's following right along. That's what she's doing. And there you go with like the oil situation. The other thing, like, here we go. Here's the other one, the Afghanistan situation. She's so upset. She's so upset that people may be left behind in Afghanistan. And they're not. We have a concerted effort to get people out of there and do what we're doing. Not only that, she puts out a Facebook post saying, Biden's doing nothing. Not doing anything. 70,000 people airlifted out of there in a week, 10 days, using private and commercial jets to do so. The Biden administration got together and did whatever they can, working with the CIA and everybody else to try to get people further away out from the airport in so they can get them out. That's what they're doing. But not to Stephanie Bice. To Stephanie Bice, nothing's going on. It's a big crisis. See? Chicken Little. The sky is falling. Oh no, I'm wetting myself. You know, that's what we have here. And that's exactly what that is. It's a big ball of conservative cowardice. And Stephanie just wants us to know just how big she cries about all of it. But you know what she didn't cry about? Syria. Yeah, you know, Trump pulled out of Syria, just pulled out, left all our bases and all our assets out there so that the Russians and the Syrians could just take them over. And that's exactly what they did. But you know what? You don't see her griping about that, do you? And when you see stuff like that and you go, wait a minute, she wants to dish it, but she's way too big of a coward to take it. You know, she's playing politics. And these are lessons in conservative cowardice that she displays. I want to be able to dish it. Afghanistan, so horrible what we're doing there. But wants to give Trump a pass on Syria pulling out and leaving our bases to the Russians. That's okay. That's okay with her because, you know, a conservative did it. So she's all right with that. And that's what you got. With the Afghanistan situation. No, really it is. Because over there, yeah, you know, I'll be honest. Man, I think it's a big kerfunkle. Yeah, you're right, man. The way they did that was horrible. Should have thought it out better. But really, the plan was to get him out in May. That was the original plan that Trump put in place when he made the deal with the Taliban, releasing 5,000 prisoners out of. One of those being the new leader of the Taliban that's taken over the Afghanistan. When they do that, this is kind of a shared effort. I'm going to say, yeah, you know, the Biden administration, you failed on this one. You should have looked at the logistics better. You should have been more realistic with your timelines. And yeah, let's not leave Americans behind in there. Let's not do that. If we can at least do anything, let's not leave people behind that don't want to be left behind. Should have thought about that better. We really should have. But to go off like Stephanie Bice does is just, you look at it and you're like, really? And you're going to give Trump a pass on Syria? But you're going to cry. You're going to cry so much about those people in Afghanistan. These poor girls had to be saved because Biden would do it. Oh, she's crying her eyes out. Like the, you know, pandering pansy that Stephanie Bice is. So, that's what you get. She's pandering around. Crying with her Chicken Little act. Telling you how bad the sky's falling and it's a crisis everywhere. Oh no. Try to scare you. That's exactly what she's doing. Why does she have to be so scared? Why do conservatives have to be so scared? You know, it's not just a Stephanie Bice deal. You see this with a lot of conservatives. They're scared. They're peeing all over themselves in fear. Just like Stephanie Bice does every time she puts out a post. I've really not figured out why they think this is great political strategy. Really? I want to look like a wuss so I can get votes. that's going to work. Really? No, man, you look like a divisive twit. That's what you look like. You look like you're money hungry and vote hungry. Oh, please support me. Look, I don't like Biden. I'll go against anything he says. Look at this. The crisis is going on. It's all a crisis. Oh no, what will I ever do? And that's Stephanie Bice. That's her the last 2 weeks. That's all she's done. Giving speeches on the floor and everything else. Putting out a Facebook post. Because because she's not authoring legislation. Or co-sponsoring it. Well, she'll sponsor it, but she won't co-author it. And she won't author it. She just would rather be giving you Facebook posts about crying about people actually doing stuff. Because she's not doing anything. What is she doing? Besides crying on Facebook and Twitter. What is she doing? I'm gonna put my approval on this bill I didn't write or co-author. I'll sponsor that. Ooh, aren't I good? No, man. Why don't you actually write a bill? Why don't you actually co-author a bill? Why don't you try something bipartisan and get with somebody on the other side and write a bill together? But that's not what Stephanie's into. She's into the politics of it all. She's into how much money can I get these plebes to send me as I cry to them about the crisis that's going on. And how I'll protect you if you send me the money. And that's what that's about. And so that's what you have right there. Stephanie Bice. The other thing I want to talk about is she put out a post about H.R. 4. This is the John Lewis Act. This is such a power grab from Democrats, taking away our state rights when it comes to elections. These horrible Democrats are so overbearing and authoritarian. Because if you look at what the John Lewis bill does, it actually only goes after states with 15, when there's 15 problems in 20 years. Yeah, we want a little oversight for that. If there's been problems in minority areas, that we can verify that, yeah, I think you might need a little oversight. This is what Stephanie Bice is against. And it's not, believe me, she's not against it because it takes away state control. She's not. Believe me, Republicans, that local control, small government, it's BS. It's baloney. They don't believe that. They would love to jettison the Republic and the Constitution if it meant that conservatives could rule forever. That's exactly where they are with that. So that's baloney. Local control. Look at them. Right. We want to put in a mask mandate at schools. Right? And the governor goes, no. No local control if it's nothing we like. See, this is more of that conservative cowardice of likes to dish it. We love that small government, but way too big of a coward to take it. Oh, your city council did something we don't agree with, so we're going to use the force and power of big state government to make you conform to our ways by cutting your funding, taking away your salaries, doing whatever we can to hobble you, hamstring you, and make sure that what you're doing that goes against what we believe in up here, up the state, that you know that we don't like it and we're going to make it as hard for you to do it at your local level. Where we're going to go out and campaign next year that we believe in local control. And that's what Stephanie's going to do. She's doing it now. We believe in local control. It's taking away our state's rights. But they're more than happy to have federal election audit in Arizona or Pennsylvania. More than happy. More than happy. So that tells you right there what Stephanie says. This is about local control. It's not. It's about keeping conservatives in power. Because if you're against municipalities and counties rigging the vote, making it harder for minorities to vote, when there are cases, actual verifiable, 15 or more before they could even do it, when you're against that, then you're not against state control. You're against people voting. That's what you're against. You're against people legally voting that may not vote for you. That's exactly what that is. It's about controlling who votes and controlling her voters so that they will vote for her. But really, Oklahoma doesn't have that much of a problem when it comes to these issues. like the federal government, like H.R. 4 is supposed to cover. There's nowhere to be seen. Not in Oklahoma. We don't have those kind of problems. So this is, again, another NRCC talking point that she's picked up on, made a Facebook post about. Probably without even thinking about it. I'm just going through the motions. They tell me to do it, and I buy it out. And that's exactly what Stephanie Bice is doing. When she's doing whatever she does as U.S. House District 5 representative in the House of Representatives at the U.S. Congress. That's pretty much what she's doing, right? I mean, following along with talking points, putting them out without thinking, and then being able to be lambasted like people by me when we're going, wow, do you not see the hypocrisy in what you're putting up? Do you not see the flagrant fantasy land scenario you're putting in when you talk about oil and OPEC and Russia and how much they actually control of that sector of the market? And you're saying we should talk to them. Or that the United States is energy independent. You know what? Actually, we are. If you want to talk about it in a certain way. We do produce enough of our energy. We do. We produce enough of our own energy. We really do. But it's on a global market, so we're subject to global conditions in that market. So if OPEC doesn't drill enough and there's a less supply, price goes up. When they drill more, it goes down. That's just how it works. Now, and this is what you have with Representative Stephanie Bice. It's Across the Desk with Kit Fairchild, and we'll see you next week.